Craig Martinez here with the Flipboss Academy, and I'm really excited for our guest here, Matthew Stevens, one of our Flipboss students. What a great success story. I think you guys are going to love what you're going to hear today in this interview. Matthew Stevens, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming out of your way. I know you're really busy now,
Yeah.
but busy doing the things that you love, so I'm glad that you were able to make it down here for this talk. Tell us a little bit about Matthew Stevens, the person, first, so we can all get to know you.
All right, well, born in Atlanta, Georgia. Born and raised there, grew up, and then through high school I got a job, cooking as a chef. Or, I would say not a chef really, but doing prep and washing dishes, and decided that was a passion that I wanted to pursue. I was good at it, and after high school went to culinary school. It's Culinary Institute of America in New York, one of the best culinary schools in the country. Was there for 2 years, and then decided to keep pursuing, and I wanted to be one of the best chefs and train with the best people. Went to an apprenticeship at the Greenbrier in West Virginia, so I was there for 5 years as a culinary apprentice under a master chef. Left there and worked at various restaurants, 3 Michelin star restaurants, 5-star hotels. I worked for 5 master chefs, several 5-star hotels, 3 to name some of them, the Breakers, the Ritz-Carlton in Naples, Ritz-Carlton in Palm Beach before it became a separate hotel. And the Breakers was where I kind of ended my career as a head banquet chef over there, underneath a $38 million operation. Had 20 in season, about 22 employees in the kitchen, just the hot kitchen alone. And so beyond there, I'm married, have three kids, 6-year-old, 3-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old. So
I know that. They're beautiful kids, beautiful
busy.
Wife. You're a busy family man, for sure.
Yeah, busy.
So tell us, how did you end up hearing about flipping wholesale real estate?
It all kind of really began almost 3 years ago. We were at a family function, and you had been at our house, and you'd stated you were leaving the car business, or you'd left the car business.
About 5 years ago, then.
Yeah, about 5 years ago. So you were leaving the car business, and that you had started a business, wholesaling and flipping real estate. And I was like, oh, what's this? You kind of talked about the similarities between the car business and the culinary business, the hours, the holidays, and the hustle, the grind, the just being at work all the time, no time for family, no time for holidays. And I was like, oh, that's pretty similar to what I'm doing. I kind of heard of some of the freedoms you were having, but learned, what it was from you at that time. And my wife had been kind of dabbling in it and learning about it as well. And from that, just learned a little more from you and started listening and kind of finding out what is this thing that they're talking about. So that's where I really first heard about it.
So what was it about your current job that made you want to consider potentially getting into another field or getting into flipping real estate?
It really came down to freedom. At a certain point, I realized that, moving forward with my life, I was tired of missing the things that were really important to me, and that was that I didn't want my life to be defined by the job that I have, but by my family and my kids, and what I can give back and what I can be for them and serving them, and I was tired of missing those things. So freedom is really the biggest thing for me. There's always income, but I believe that follows what you truly love. But it was really was freedom. I loved being a chef. I was really great at it. I was really talented and put a lot of work in, 18 years of that. But, it really became more important to me that there were other things that I wanted out of life.
Wow, that's interesting because our stories are similar, just different industries. I was 15 years in the automotive business, but like the restaurant business, the hours, and sales, retail sales, there was always a big automotive sale every single holiday, every single weekend. So I worked weekends for years. I worked every holiday for years. So, I know what it's like to be in an industry where you're always living at work, and anything that's retail sales related, usually you're always at work. Restaurant business, you have to be there to serve. You have to be there to cook and clean up at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock shifts. I've actually, when I was a teenager, I worked as a prep cook for a restaurant that would get really busy at certain seasons, and I just remember working a crazy amount of hours. So I could relate to the fact of, you may have even enjoyed what you were doing. You spent a lot of years in that, but you got tired of the hours and the holidays. families and missing out events
Yeah.
with your family. I missed my older son. I missed many times his baseball games on Saturday. I used to miss all of them because I had to work every Saturday because we had a big sale every Saturday working in the automotive business. So, so you saw an opportunity, and now we're just going back. You knew that I made this jump almost, well, it was about 5 years ago. You just made the jump actually about 8 months ago.
8 months ago,
And so how did you have the courage to make that jump from an industry you've been in for 18 years?
Yeah.
Making almost $100,000 a year with bonuses from what we last spoke. So you're making good money. You were paying your bills. You had money left over. You and Angie both had decent jobs, right?
Yeah.
How did you have the courage to make that jump?
You know, it really began with, finding the knowledge. I think that the knowledge gives you a lot more courage to really take a jump because it gives you confidence. Finding a good mentor, finding good information, and seeing other people that have made that jump, like yourself. I saw that you had made the jump. You were in the car industry, and you made a complete 180 of doing something completely different. So seeing someone else's successes and saying, okay, if I find out or mimic what they're doing, and I can mimic that, and I can do that. So it really helps build that confidence. Having a good support system of people that believe in you. Having my wife or my, even my parents, believing that I can do that and I'll be successful with it. And lastly, the biggest thing was the fear of regret. The fear of in 40 years from now, looking back and saying I missed all these events with my kids and my wife, and I missed these opportunities that I'll never get back. So that fear of that regret really, gave me the courage to say, what, enough's enough. I'm just gonna take the leap, have the faith, and believe in myself, and believe in my wife and our family that we can be successful.
So so you felt you had nothing to lose at this point and everything to gain?
Yeah, absolutely. What's worse than losing your house is, 40 years from now having the regret that you never did the things that you wanted to do.
Yeah, one of the analogies that I think it's Tony Robbins, he uses, you have to burn the bridges, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I did when I left the automotive business is I had 15 good years in there. I was making really, really good money. I made my last year in the automotive business. I was on the executive management team, and I was overseeing about 250 associates, and I was making over $500,000 a year at the time. But for me to make the jump, leaving what I had, which was good, even though I didn't like the politics and the hours and the stress, I had to mentally burn those bridges and say, I'm just not going back. I'm going to go get my dream. I'm going to go get freedom. I'm going to make this work. I have the blueprint. I spent, like you invested in the academy, I also invested years ago, about 5 years ago, in an academy to learn how to flip real estate. I spent $1,500 in that academy. And I just mentally burnt the bridge. I was going to master this academy, I said to myself, and I'm going to make the jump, and I'm going to figure it out. And it sounds like you did the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I really decided that there was no plan B. There was only plan A.
Man, that's so powerful.
And that, there's no going back. Because if you've already mentally checked out that, okay, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to move to plan B, or I can just go back to being a chef, you don't believe in your dream. You believe that you're going to fail. And, there's always doubts, there's always fears. But one thing I knew is that, I had the work ethic, I had the knowledge, I had the support. So it was just, and I had the faith, and it was really just, saying I'm going to be a success, and having the mindset that when things get hard, or you got to make that 200th cold call, or you got to go see that one more client, that that you keep that end result in mind. And that was the freedom. I didn't want to give up that freedom to be with my kids.
That's a great story. Tell us about your first flip, your first deal. How much did you make? Tell us a little bit about
absolutely.
that.
So as I went to the class, went to the Flipboss Academy, went to the 3-day class.
3-day boot camp.
Yeah, the 3-day boot camp. So after we completed that, we'd set up things at our house, working from the home in a home office. We did some direct mail that we joint ventured with you on. We got this. We got a lead, through some direct mail. My wife was the first one to touch base on that and do some of the initial negotiating. We were using the same scripts that we got into in the boot camp, using the same direct mail, same strategies. Nothing. We didn't reinvent the wheel to do anything different. We just followed the blueprint that we knew that would work. And so, she had landed a specific price on the property. We said, this is a deal. She set up an appointment. I went on the appointment. And that's how we work our business, is she carries out certain things and I'll do the other 50%. So we went to the property, again, through the scripts, built rapport, went through, is this the final amount that you would take? And would you take any less for the property? Went through the whole script, again, didn't reinvent the wheel. The guy agreed on a specific price. It was the distressed seller, had a death in the family, and was really looking to move the property. Didn't have to press him real hard, didn't have to, convince him to sell. Just followed and built the rapport, and he eventually, within 15 minutes of being in the property, signed the contract.
Awesome. So you built rapport, you learned from the training, you got the scripts, and you used the tools that you had.
Yeah.
And you did a great job. And so how much did you end up making on that deal?
Altogether, I believe you ended up selling deal. We made 90, and then we split it, because it was a JV, so it was like $45,000.
So $45,000, very rare in the wholesale industry to get a $45,000 profit on your first deal. At least I haven't seen many opportunities like that. That's a great job. You did amazing. I mean, that must have really fired you up and got you pumped up.
Absolutely.
Made a believer out of you.
Yeah, I mean, what it does is it just gives you affirmation that, when you act on your dream, you have the faith and you have courage. It just solidifies that this is what you were supposed to do, and it removes a lot of that doubt that, like, okay, it's proven this works. I can do it. The information's there. It's just action. That's what you control.
You took action. It's like I talk about in my 7 steps, my personal belief in my 7 steps to success is getting the mentoring, right? Getting the information and the knowledge, getting the blueprint for success. Because if you take an existing blueprint that is already working, it's already proven it should work. It'll work for you if you apply it.
Yeah.
If you apply the knowledge and you take heavy action, you can become really successful, and you did that. And that's why you're here today, because you're just a great example of someone that took the mentoring, took the blueprint, copied it, and now you're growing from there.
Yeah.
You're repeating it over and over again. You're taking the action, and now you're getting the success. Now you're getting the results.
Absolutely.
That's changing your life and giving you the freedom that you want.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, every day with that, it's like I'm able to take my kids to school. Right now I work from home. We hope to get an office soon, but I take my kids to school. I'm home for dinner every night. I can choose to work late at night when they're not around, or on the weekends if I have to, if I need to go to an appointment, but I can make up with that by doing something with them later in the day. So freedom, flexibility is the key, and that's what I wanted. Again, the profit and the money comes along with that, which is phenomenal. But the biggest thing is freedom. Is now I'm home.
That's
when
powerful.
I want to be home,
and you get to do things on your terms now. It's
Absolutely.
your business, and you're doing things on your terms, and that's so great to hear. So you're 8 months in to being basically an entrepreneur, flipping real estate, and you've made just over $150,000. That's pretty good for the first 8 months. You don't see that a lot. What would you say to someone that wants to get into flipping real estate and wants your type of success? I don't know the math offhand, but that sounds like $18,000 or $20,000 a month in your first 8 months. That's a phenomenal job. What would you tell someone? What advice would you give them to try to achieve a similar success like you're achieving now?
You got to put the work in. I mean, even when the days that it's hard, like I've never cold called. I've dealt with clients as a chef, but I've never made cold calls, never been on an appointment. It's just really pushing past the fear and just going at it every day. Make those calls, set the goal, make the calls, set the goal, make the calls, do the mail, do the marketing, and really committing. Commitment is the biggest thing. If you're not committed to your goal or your dream, it's not going to happen for you. I'm not an expert at real estate by any means at this point in my career, but what I do have is the work ethic that, I'll make the calls, I'll go on the appointments, I'll spend the little extra money on marketing, staying consistent with it every day, not slacking off, not taking the day off on a Wednesday when you feel overwhelmed or it's not working out. There's a span where you're going to hit a little dry spell, but you got to make the calls. The next call is going to be a deal. The next call is going to be a deal.
Keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you get what you want. You get your dreams, you get your goals and your desires, man. That's awesome. So you recently went back to your old job, but instead of as an employee, this time you went as a client. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, and it was for New Year's. The wife and I decided to, celebrate the act of the success that the short-term success that we had just leaving our job. From the time that I left to the New Year's, we didn't do anything. We didn't go out to eat. We didn't spend any money. We focused on the business and we worked and worked. So we decided that it was time to celebrate, taking the act of having the faith and the blessing of being able to leave and enjoy the successes. And it was really great going back, not only just to see the people that when I left work and for them to see that success, but really to acknowledge that, we did it. We actually did it. And this is the beginning of our new life. We're kind of leaving that old life behind and saying, this is the new life that we have. So it was really phenomenal just to be able to experience that and not worry about the bill, not worry about,
How much was the bill? I know it's a really nice event.
It was about $1,500.
Okay, wow.
So
did you feel guilty spending the $1,500?
Absolutely not. No? We earned that $1,500.
All right.
You earned it. We earned that celebration, and that was really nice. It was great to be able to take the wife and celebrate. What a short term.
I love celebrating. I love celebrating wins. I've always been a big promoter of that because I like to keep the energy high. Keep the energy high with myself and my partners and my team. And keep it's like investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And investing in motivation and always looking to motivate and inspire and push myself. And I like to also celebrate those wins. And I think it's nice to see you do that this early in the game and spend that kind of money to do it. And look, you've made $150,000 plus in 8 months. That's a great job. You don't see that; it's rare. But you're proof that it's possible if you get the knowledge and you put in the work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a great story.
It's key, yeah.
Matthew Stevens, thank you for
so much.
joining me on this. It was
Thank
great.
you very much.
And I hope all of you guys get inspired by this story because it's a great story of success. When you put in the work and you get the knowledge, you will have success. Craig Martinez with the Flipboss Academy. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching.